team. Thank you for taking the time out and being here today. CCS Learning Academy is the professional training division of CCS Global Tech, a 26-year-old full-service IT consulting firm. We help business to build their teams with skilled tech professionals depending upon their project needs. We also help them by upskilling and reskilling their workforce on latest technology trends and professional development and leadership training. We offer a wide range of innovative technology solutions, training, and career placement for business and individual. My name is Shivani Kala. At CCS Learning Academy, I have been in technology and professional training sector for over a decade. I work with students, organizations, and leaders for their professional development. We'll be running a live QA at the end of the webinar. We have enabled our Ask a Question feature. It is on the bottom of your screen. So if you have any questions, please put them in there. Today, we have well-respected subject matter expert, trainer, and speaker from CCS Academy with having more than a decade experience. Please welcome Gayatri. Gayatri, you can take it from here.
Thank you so much. A very good morning, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well and fine and staying safe in this weather. So, my name is Gayatri, and I'll be your presenter today and give you a brief introductory on Power BI. So, just giving a small introduction about myself, I have around 12 years of experience and I'm a Microsoft certified business intelligence developer. And my major specialization is on complete SQL BI stack, along with Power BI, Team Foundation Server, which is Azure DevOps and SharePoint. I have achieved two certifications from Microsoft and planning to take more in the future. And coming to today's webinar, the introductory about Power BI. So the main agenda for today's webinar is divided into these 4 pointers, which will give us a clear overview of what tool we are going to talk about and what is the purpose of this tool and how is this going to be a big part of your everyday life in implementing the data visualization. So the main agenda here is, first of all, let's understand what is data visualization and how is this important in our day-to-day life, and how will we bridge a gap between a data and the proper business decision that can be taken based on the data that we have. And this particular tool, Power BI, how does that help with valuable insights by converting this data into a data visualization report? So moving on to the data visualization, to just give you one brief overview, let us first understand what is this business data and what is a business decision. Every company has a data in different formats. It could be a raw format, it could be in a flat file, which is a comma separated values, or which could be in an Excel format, or sometimes the data is profiled and cleansed and it is in a tabular format. By just looking into the data in these different file formats, I may not come up to a proper business decision. And being a developer, I know how to query the data so that I will know whatever the data I'm querying, I can understand the data about it and I can make a business decision. But thinking from all other perspectives, an analyst perspective, or maybe my stakeholder perspective, who are not very technical, they require some kind of an insight to convert this business data into a proper images, I could say, which will help them to make a proper business decision. So why just images? Why can't we have this data in the same format? That could be one of the questions that come at this point. So let me just give you a small example here. So whenever a requirements document is coming to a developer, or maybe in general, if we have to see, let's take a small storybook. So whenever we read a storybook, the storybook comprises of different images in it and as well as the content, the paragraphs and pages. So depending on the grade level from kids to adults, the storybook ranges different. And the range is different in the sense the number of images that you have gradually reduce when it goes over a period. So when I look into an image, I can register those images and I can better predict what would be the story, and also I better can follow what the story is all about. So that is the power of an insight or a visual or an image. In a similar way, in any business, a decision can be made by properly generating the insights on the data that is available, which will help the company to go in the right direction by making the correct business decision. So that is what is about a business data and how a business decision can be made out of it. So in order to do this, how can we bridge the gap? So data is something very technical and business decision is something non-technical which a user has to make. So now, I'm sorry about that. So now let's say, how do we bridge the gap between these two? So is there any kind of a media that can help us or a medium that can help us in bridging the gap? Yes, there are so many applications and so many tools that are available in the market which will help us to convert the business data or the raw data into a meaningful insight. And we today we are going to talk about one of the tools that is being used a lot in the recent market times, and there is a lot of demand for this tool, and which is our Microsoft tool, that is nothing but your Power BI. So the Power BI helps in data visualizations. So let me just give you a brief about what is data visualization. So I have a data, let's say I have an Excel data with different rows and columns in it. So the data comprises of a name, it could comprise of different salary of a person, or maybe which department that person is working, or maybe like how many years of experience that person have, who that person is reporting to. So all this data is in the form of a table and columns in a small Excel sheet. So now my company wants to make a business decision as it is towards the starting of the year. They want to check on the budgeting and see and expand the team, or maybe they want to give a pay hike for some of the team members, or maybe they want to recruit new team members into the company. So these are some kind of business decisions they want to make. So how this decision can be made? Only by checking how much of budget do they have and what is the current sources they have in that particular team. So I have all this data readily available in a table, but I want this data to be in the form of a visual or in the form of an insight or an image, so that looking at that image, a business decision can be made and the respective process can be followed. So that is the power of data visualization, which will help you to convert the business raw data into a meaningful images or the insights. Like as I told you, this data visualization will help you for the pictorial representation of the data. So as you see the current screenshot on my screen here, you have a page with multiple images on it. I could call them visuals, I could call them insights. So looking at this, I can immediately see that, okay, the total volume is 50K and the market share is 32.86%. So that means here there is a market analysis is going on some of the units sold and what is the overall profit I'm getting out of it. So just imagine this small page with 5 or 6 visuals on it is extracted by converting bunch of tables into this format. So as a business user looking at it, I will know the live data, what exactly, how many units are sold, what is the excuse me, what is the profit I'm getting out of it, and what are my year to date sales. By simply looking into the graphs, I can get the complete information. That is the power of a pictorial representation of data, which can be done using the data visualization. And not only that, it provides you the key aspects in a meaningful way. So now, what is that meaningful way? See, when looking at this image, I can clearly say that the total volume in 2014 is 50K. So the number of products, the total number of volume, the total number of sales, the volume that we had during that particular year was 50K. Looking at this page, I get that insight and a meaningful information from the scorecard, whatever is written on top as form of a statement. So that is a meaningful in way we can get an insight. And also, if you see, it's a very quick and easy way to convey the information. So this image, if given to any person, can easily understand from the title of each and every visual what is happening inside a particular visual. For example, if you see in this chart, it says total units overall by segment. That means in a segment, how many units have been sold. It is giving me the segment information here, along with how many units are sold and how much revenue is generated out of those units. So even a non-technical person who understands a very basic English language can easily understand what is happening on this image. So it is not only restricted to few group of people, but anyone can understand the information in a universal manner. That is what data visualization does to a raw data. So why is this visualization important? So why can't I directly, make use of this raw data? I can write some queries, I can restrict the queries, and maybe I can get that information. Yes, that is also possible. But why is this important is analyzing complex data. What is that analyzing complex data here is you're not getting the data in only one format. The data could be in multiple formats coming from different sources and different premises. For example, it could be an on-premises source or it could be a cloud source. All the data coming from different sources doesn't follow the same format. So the data visualization tools will help you to convert the data into one standard format and help you easily analyze it by making a universal format inside that application. And the next point here, why it is further important is understanding the patterns. You can identify the patterns and you can extract the valuable insights. So these tools that we have, the data visualization tools in the market, are powerful AI infused tools which are inbuilt in extracting the valuable insights. With just drag and drop of some of the values that you want to analyze, the data will be converted into a visual. That is the reason these visualization tools are very important. And the best thing here is, as I was telling you, it will simplify the complex information into a meaningful visual for easy decision making. So, like, no matter how many ever the sources that you are bringing in the data, all the data is converted into a simple table in this application, and that table data will be represented in the form of a visual. So, by this visuals, as the data is already coming from the source, you can make a proper and accurate business decisions in a quicker way. That is the main importance and the purpose of a data visualization. So now, like as I was telling you, there are like so many data visualization tools available in the market. Like we have Power BI, which is of high demand in the market recently because of the varied features that the Power BI tool has got. And the advantage of that, it is a Microsoft tool. So all the Microsoft applications are inbuilt in it and they support it. For example, a Microsoft BI stack has a reporting tool which is called as SQL Server Reporting Services. In short, it is called as SSRS. So this was a traditional reporting tool which Microsoft was providing along with the SQL BI stack. So every tool has got certain set of limitations. The SSRS tool is only a reporting tool, but this Power BI, which was launched by Microsoft, is a data visualization. That means it is a dashboarding tool. It will help you to get more insights in a quicker way. And also the interface, everything even accepts more sources. Every tool has got its certain set of limitations. Like SSRS has only few sources that it can bring in the data, whereas Power BI has different types of sources that it can bring in the data. Like it could be a cloud, it could be an on premises, it could be any kind of raw data format. You can bring in the data into Power BI, which could be converted into a meaningful data. As it is a Microsoft product, even SSRS traditional reports, which are already built in the companies, can be integrated with this Power BI tool. That means with a simple steps two step way, we can convert an SSRS report into a Power BI dashboard. So you need not do everything from scratch. So that is the reason most of the companies and the high demand for this tool in the market is because of the flexibility it has got across multiple platforms and also converting the SSRS reports into a Power BI dashboards. Apart from this Power BI, we have other tools like Tableau, we have business objects, we have Cognos, different kinds of reporting tools available in the market. But as our agenda today is going to be talking about Power BI, Let's dig deeper into this Power BI and see what is the main advantage of this and how is this helpful in visualizing the data and implementing the insights. So let's understand before we talk about the visuals and everything, let's talk about what is Power BI to get a very basic insight of it. So as you see on the screen here, this is a complete Power BI architecture. So a Power BI, as I mentioned, it is a Microsoft application. It's a stand-alone application, which is initially the installation of that is initially free, and it has got like different licensing that you can buy from Microsoft. So, but whenever you install the Power BI, the initial 60 days version, trial version is free, and it will have all the features that you want to explore. And then later on, depending on which license you are more comfortable with, you can buy that licensing from Microsoft. Excuse me. And price wise also, it is not very expensive. It is cost effective when you compare with other tools in the market. So this Power BI is majorly a cloud based application. So as I was telling, it is a standalone application. So here it is divided into two components. You have a standalone Power BI desktop application, which will help you to build the visuals and make the data into a possible insights and transform the data, model the data, and create the complete report. And then you can publish that report onto the Power BI services, which is nothing but a cloud application. So, as I was telling you, as it is a cloud application, it could be easily shared across multiple people or in the organization or outside the organization as well. Or it could be embedded into a SharePoint server. The reports can be even published onto a web portal too. And then here you have like another option where you can connect to multiple sources, unlimited, like I don't say unlimited sources, but whatever the sources you have got, this Power BI keeps on adding the number of sources on a monthly basis. Why monthly basis? Because Power BI Microsoft is improving this tool, and every month there is an enhancement on this tool. Just like we have the iOS updates on Apple phones and everything, every month there is an update on this Power BI, which is helping to improve the tool. And by that improvement, it is even adding multiple sources to it. And also, it is improving the infrastructure and the interface of it for easy understanding. And new features are being introduced so that with just few clicks, you can directly build a report. And as you see on the image here, this Power BI, once it is published onto Power BI services, a report, it could be accessed on your tablets, on your mobile, or even on your, excuse me, laptops or computers. So that is basically a overview of Power BI architecture. And this is also called as a self-service BI. Why we are calling it as a self-service BI here is it has got an internal transformation tool. So when I say BI, it is a business intelligence. That means it has got an internally transformation tool which will help you to model the data, transform, cleanse, and profile the data that is coming from different sources and give it a proper structure on which you can build the reports. And from insight to action, the third point which is mentioned here, the data driven culture from insight to action. It is nothing but you are creating the model, the tables, and then you're putting them into action in the form of a visual. So that is how the Power BI is used. And the Power BI desktop was introduced around 2015, 2016 time. But even before that, we had the concept of Power BI in Excel. So initially when Microsoft has released, it has introduced Excel Power BI, which comprises of Power Pivot, Power View, Power Map, and Power Query. These are the four individual add-ins which were introduced in Excel. But the main problem here is as we have to use Excel as a platform in order to implement these add-ins, the purpose of the dashboarding was limited in that scenario. So for that reason, Microsoft has come up by delivering this Power BI desktop as a complete standalone application, which has these four features of Excel, that is Power Pivot, Power View, Power Map, and Power Query inbuilt in it. That's why we are calling it as a self-service BI tool as well. So moving on to further, why do we have to use Power BI? So like as I was telling you, there are like so many reporting and dashboarding tools available in the market, but why do we have to use Power BI in this case? So let's see, there are like few pointers that can be discussed and that can give us a complete meaning of why we are using this Power BI. The very first thing is building reports in minutes. So this is like the key factor and the most important thing about Power BI. So once you have the data ready, it will take hardly few minutes for you to build a report, because building a report is simply dragging and dropping a visual and then putting in the columns or the rows, whatever you want on that visual to give you a proper insight. So we'll be seeing, how to build the report in just few minutes once we are done going through this content. And the second point here is wide range of data sources. Like as I was telling you, Power BI improvement enhancements, which is being done every month, there are multiple range of sources that are being added to. So these sources are helpful in getting the data from any kind of an application. That means even you can get the data from Facebook, GitHub, Twitter, or even if you want to get the data from PDF files, Excel files, flat files, or there is an option called a folder in which you can drop a bunch of files which has the same format, and it automatically loops through the files and it loads into the Power BI application. So here, whenever we are talking about the data sources, Power BI supports different sources. At the same time, it supports different data connectivity modes as well. So the data connectivity mode is nothing but, as it can be connected to on-premises or the cloud, it has three different types of connection modes. The first one is an import mode of data connectivity, which means it is going to literally import the data, whatever is connected to the source, into the Power BI cache. And then the reports are done based on that imported data. So whenever the data is imported, whatever the transformations is done on data, everything is updated on the cache. Nothing is being changed at the source level. That is an import mode of operation. Whereas the second mode is direct query. In this direct query, as the name itself tells, we are not connecting or we are not bringing any data into the cache. Rather, we are directly connecting to the source. So it is more of a live data that we are getting from the source. So what is the purpose of this direct query when we have an import? The problem here is in an import mode of operation, there is a limitation of the size. You cannot query or you cannot analyze the data for larger data sets. That's why the direct query mode helps you to connect the data in live connection, and you can even analyze the data for larger data sets. And the third data connectivity option that we have is a live connection, which is exclusively used for your analysis services engine. Unlike the other sources, Power BI also supports analysis services, which is also one of the Microsoft tools, that is SQL Server Analysis Services, SSAS, which will help in building multidimensional and tabular models. So whenever you are connecting live, they're connecting live to this analysis services engines. So that is about the data sources. Coming to the next point, the data wrangling operations. This is actually a very cool feature in Power BI, which is called as a Power Query Editor. So inside this Power Query Editor, even before we are completely connecting the data or loading the data, what we do is we transform the data, because the data that is coming, as already mentioned, could be in different formats. So now we want to make sure the data is completely modeled and put into one standard format so that it will be easy to deliver the reports and the insights. So this Power Query Editor is a powerful transformation tool which will help you in transforming, profiling, cleansing the data, and creating some dynamic parameters to make your report run in a dynamic way. So this Power Query editor specifically uses a language called as M language, or it's even called as a mashup code. So these mashup codes are created internally whenever there is a transformation done on the tables. Everything is super easy. There is nothing like Greek and Latin in this Power Query editor. Creating all, it's like a step by step process. Everything, the interface looks just like an Excel, where you can transform the data. Transformations may include some of the pointers like replacing the values. Let's say I have got some null values or some zero values from the data set. I don't know how to display that, because zeros can't be displayed or null values can't be displayed on a visual. So I can replace those values. I can convert an uppercase to lowercase or lowercase to uppercase. I can do a merging of the columns. Let's say if I have a first name, middle name, and a last name as three different columns of an employee, I can merge them to form one full name, which is easy for me to show it on the visual. Or I can split the columns. Let's say I have three columns merged, then I can split the columns. A very good thing here is I can even do a different kind of a join. So Power BI supports various types of joins, and we can even make a joining operation change in this data wrangling operations. So this Power Query will help you to transform the data so that it could be easily put on a visual for a valuable insight. And then coming to the fourth pointer here, which is a real-time information. So the real-time information, like as I was telling you, you can connect the data live, or you can directly connect the data through a query. So whenever you have this, when some data is modified on the source level, automatically the data can be seen here on the Power BI report. That is a real-time information. And easy to collaborate. This is very easy. After you create a report, once you publish the report onto Power BI services, it can be easily collaborated on your SharePoint, or it can be embedded on your web portal. It could be a public portal or it could be a private portal. It will be giving you the HTML script and everything. It is easy way you can share the reports. And from the beginning, as I was telling you, it has got AI infused experience, so that it is a smart tool which will even identify what is the data that is coming in. And it has got a very cool feature which is called as Q&A, where you can use your natural language to ask a question to the data, so that a proper visual will be created based on that question. I'm going to show you that in some time when we do the demo. And finally, and the most important thing is cost effective. Like as I told you, when you install this Power BI initially, the trial version is going to be for 60 days based on the licensing. And then you can buy this from the Microsoft website, and it's cost effective. It is going to cost you like $9.99 per month per user, depending on the uh, application and also licensing that you're using. That is the main purpose why we are using this Power BI. Let's quickly get into a small demo, and I'll show you all the features that we have been discussing so far in the form of a real-time application, how it actually works, and then we can go ahead and do the Q&A. So as I told you, this Power BI is a desktop application. So whenever you install the Power BI, it appears on your desktop with this particular icon. And every month, whenever there is an update, the application automatically gets updated. So this is an interface of Power BI desktop, where you have three different panes. This is a report pane where you can build the reports and convert your data into valuable insights. And this is a data pane, which is going to give you an overview of how the data can be seen. And this is a model pane, which will help you to check how the tables are connected. So when I mean by tables, here it need not be the data coming from your RDBMS. Even if the data is coming from your DBMS or even from a website, whatever it is, Power BI will treat it as a separate table. So this pane is going to show you how the data can be modeled and how the tables are connected with each other. And a very good feature about Power BI is it supports data blending. Data blending is nothing but you can blend the data from multiple sources. That means I can get the data from an Excel sheet. I can get a data from a flat file. I can get a data from SQL Server or from a website. Four different sources, I can bring in the data into one report because Power BI will now make sure all this data is blended properly and it is converted into the tables in this format. So this is the very basic interface of it. And as you see here, you have got like these all different visuals that are currently available. And apart from these visuals, if you want to add some other new visuals into your report, you can always click on this get more visuals and you can say import a visual from a file if you have anything existing on your machine. Or when you say get more visuals, it gets connected to the Microsoft Marketplace where you have tons of visuals. And a very good thing about that is when you click on the visual, it gives you the purpose of the visual, it gives you the definition of it, where it can be used, and what is the main purpose of it. So it is going to give you all that information so that based on that, you can pick whatever visual is appropriate for your data analysis. Just a minute. Okay. So coming to this report, like as I told you, we can build the reports in minutes, right? So now let's see how fast we can build a report here in Power BI. So as the interface is seen here, you see the get data option. When I click on that, these are the commonly used data sources. Apart from that, when you click on the more, you see the tons of sources that you can pull the data from. Like as I told you, you name the source, you will be mostly seeing the source here. In case even if you're not able to see the respective source, you can always raise a request onto Microsoft Blogs and the Microsoft people will make sure that in the future enhancements, you will have that source available in this listing. And these sources are further categorized into these categories like files, databases, Microsoft Fabric, Power Platform, Azure, online services, and other. So here, in order for this particular demo, I'm going to pick a file and I'm going to use an Excel workbook to give you a small demo and explain you how the report can be done in minutes. In case if you want to even find your source, if you don't see it here, if you want to find your source, let's say, for example, I want to say GitHub. So you can just type it in there and you'll automatically get that source. So I'm just saying Excel for now and click on the Excel workbook and hit the connect button. So when you hit the connect button, it is now going to ask me what is the source file that I want to take in. So I'm just taking like, let's say a data file from here and just hit the open. So it is now connecting to the source. So I want to just make sure this source file is on my desktop currently. That means we are dealing with an on-premises sources. So on this source file, as you see here, there are different sheets. This is an Excel file in which there are multiple sheets. So when I click on the date sheet, you will see a preview of the data, what you have on the date sheet here, just like an overview of it. And when you click on the other one, geo, you see the overview of what columns that you have, what kind of data you're going to see, and product, and also the sales. Let's say I want to pick these four sheets and turn them into a valuable insight. So from this, what we understand is I'm going to now create a report based on the product sales over a particular region during that particular date frame. As I have sales, product, geo, and date. Okay. So here at the bottom, we have three options. The first thing is load. As you see here, it is load. It is going to literally load this data into the cache and then it will allow me to make any modifications and then update the report. Or I have another option, which is the transformation tool, that is the Power Query Editor, where I can click on this transform data and I can make the modifications to this data if I don't want any columns to be seen, or if I want some data to be merged or split, or like, change the naming convention, I can simply click on transform data, which will be taking me to a Power Query Editor. Frankly speaking, if those transformations are not required, you can straight away select whatever the sheets are required and simply hit the load button. As soon as I hit the load button, you see now the data is being loaded and it's saying determining automatic transformations. So once the data is loaded, it is going to be seen under the data pane. It is now creating the connections in the model. So it is even going to show you what is the size of the data file on each sheet that it is loading and the number of records also. So now if you see, a new data pane was added here and it gives you all the sheet information that you have loaded, all the tables. And then when you go into the data pane, that is the table view, it is again the same thing, just like what we have seen on the preview. It gives you the information or the preview of that particular sheet. But here, one good thing that you can do is, for example, let's say whenever I click on any one of the column, you have some formatting options popped up on the top where you can summarize or you can categorize it, or you can change the format, you can change the name of that, or you can change the data type of it. So this formatting options will pop up whenever you click on the table view and any particular column. And like as I was always telling you, the model pane is nothing but it is the pane which is going to show you how the tables are connected with each other. See, I'm saying it as a table, though I'm pulling it from an Excel sheet because it has now converted into a tabular format. So here in Power BI, as it supports data blending and the data is also brought from different sources, here it is called as a model from which we are building a report. We have to make sure that the tables inside the model are connected with each other. Only then a valuable insight can be seen on the report. Now, currently, if you see the product table, sales table, and the geo table are connected with each other, but the date table is not connected. So there are high chances that now whenever I'm trying to get the sales over a particular time period, my Power BI report is not going to give me the appropriate information because there is no connection between these. So all you have to do is just make sure the tables are connected with each other and just create, if you do not see any connection, just create a connection. Here it is called as a relationship. So here, as you see, there is a date column common between this sales and date table. So all I'm going to do is just simply drag and drop it here. It automatically now creates the connection. Now, as you see, we have all the four tables connected with each other, which will help us in delivering the appropriate insights. So once the tables are connected, when you go back onto the report pane, here it's a very simple task. All you have to do is just pick any visual of your choice. Let's say I'm picking this clustered column chart. When I get this clustered column chart, you can just expand this a little bit and just drag and drop whatever the content you want to see on that. For example, let's say I want to see the month name on the x-axis and I want to see what are the sales. A simple thing. I want to see the revenue on the y-axis. So now if you see, just by dragging and dropping, you're getting that information here. So I have seen the month name and this is my sales information. So if you see, my month name is not in chronological order, it is in alphabetical order. So I can change the format also here. Like as I told you, you can go onto the table view, just select the date table in which you have the month name. Just select that. Here you have to say is sort by column and choose month number. So now my month name is sorted based on the month number column. So once this change has been done, you need not save or do anything because automatically everything is now updated in your cache. Now you have to just come here, click on the more options on the visual and you can say sort access by month name. Now if you see, it is in chronological order but in a descending order from December to Jan. I'm changing it to ascending. From Jan to December, I got my data. So when you just hover your mouse on that visual, it is gonna give you a tooltip which will tell you what is the name of the month and what is the revenue that has been generated in that particular month. Excuse me. So again, this is like a very simple way that you can create a visual. Just like that, you can bring in whatever the other visuals that you want. Let's say I want a donut chart. And let's say I want to represent a state here. I've dragged and dropped from the geo. and I want to know the uh, revenue again for each state. And if I want to go into more details based on the category. So now if you see, this is giving me the sum of revenue by state and category, where I can even click on this small box, which will take me to a focus mode, and you will have a deeper, like a closer picture of that particular image. And you see all the uh, numbers, that is revenue, that are being displayed here. Again, when you just hover your mouse, you'll be seeing in state New York, category urban, that is the sum of revenue. And it is even giving you the percentage of that as well. So you can always click on go back to report, and then let's pick a simple table here this time to give you the tabular information. For example, I want to know the category, because table comprises of only columns and rows, revenue, and let's say I want to even display the units. I'm getting the units for that. So whenever it sees a numerical value, it automatically gives you an aggregation to that. In case if you want to change the aggregation, you can always change it for revenue and units. Currently, it is giving me a summarized aggregation. Let's say I want to say count of units instead of sum. So it is counting me the number of units. And also I can give a region. So on a table, you can add as many as columns that you want, because it is going to display everything in like this tabular model in tables, in rows and columns. So that's it. A simple report is created. And in case if you want to filter on this particular page to see only a certain set of data, you can always use a slicer, which is nothing but a filter. You can just drag and drop that slicer here, a slicer. And let's say if I'm using revenue here under the slicer, depending on the data type that you are putting in the slicer, as revenue is a numerical value, it gives you a slider. So when I just slide the bar, automatically all the visuals will be now filtered to only display me this revenue information. Or if I'm using a slicer, let's say I'm using another slicer which has a category, for example, and depending on that, it gives you that when I say urban. Now, as you see, the visuals have filtered out the data only for urban. It is that simple to create a simple report, and a good advantage of that is every visual that you're dragging and dropping will even come with a excuse me, a title on the top. Along with it, you even have an option, so that you even have the option where you can customize your pages with different formats. You can even customize your pages with different formats. And the very good thing is this Power BI even supports the visual for color blinded people as well. So you have color blind safe formatting template as well here. So depending on your company's format, you can directly pick whatever the format colors that you want. And the same colors will be even seen on your Power BI services once it is published. So after you finish the report with whatever the customizations, or in a simpler way, like as you have seen, it is done in few minutes, then you can simply go back to the home page and click on the publish button, which will help you to publish on the Power BI services. So this way you can build as many pages as you want, and you can have as many visuals as you want on one single page too. There is as such no limitation, but whatever the visuals we are displaying on the pages, we have to just make sure that they make sense whenever you are reading through the data. And also we have to make sure the tables are connected with each other. Only then the data will be appropriately displayed. And this is small demo of Power BI. And now the session is open for Q&A if you have any questions.
Thanks, Gayatri. I think so. There are two questions.
Yes.
Is it not the Power BI desktop standalone version permanently free? Somebody has asked this
Yes.
question.
The desktop version is permanently free. The Power BI services, wherever you are going to publish the report, that services application is licensed version. So you have a Power BI a Pro license, a Power BI Premium license. So depending on the licensing, the features on the services change. See, this desktop is a just reporting application. You just build the report. But in order for you to share this report to your organization, it should be published. So that is a licensed version.
Okay, there's another question. Can you share the data XLS with us,
Yes,
please?
sure. I'll definitely share the data file that I'm using for this demo.
Okay. And I just wanted to tell the participant that we are running a special offer. In fact, I have pasted on the chat. There is a special discount which is running on Power BI training. So you can take the advantage and please go ahead and grab and you can share, you can get the details across. I have pasted the link on the chat. And there's a special offer which we are running. So I would request you can go through the details, attend the training and certification, and maybe Gayatri, if you can just throw some point at certification, what are the advantage and how it can help them in their career placement or in
Sure,
overall.
definitely. See, like as I was telling you, this Power BI is increasing rapidly in the market. The current Power BI certification, which is the basic development, which includes whatever we have discussed, and some part of Power BI services, the certification number is PL300. That is the certification number for from Microsoft. It has got very good questions, and also whatever the features that you have seen now and learned in this short introductory will even help you to take that certification. And this certification will really help you to have a weightage on your resume in the market if you're looking for new opportunities and jobs. And also it is like gonna definitely help you with explore more things about Power BI. And also a new feature that has been added, and that they are keeping on improving on Power BI, is a Power Platform, which includes Power Apps, Power Automate, Power Pages. Everything is now automated, everything can be connected externally also. So pretty soon, there will be another session on that Power Platform as well.
I think so. I have again pasted the link. If you can just see, it is CCS Learning Academy. If participant can see that link, and if you can just click on that link, it will take you to that course and the special offer which we are running on this training. So maybe you can take the advantage and of the thing, and there are limited seats, so I would suggest that you can please go through it and let us know whoever is interested and can enroll in the course. Anything else? I don't see any more questions, but Gayatri, anything else you would like to share? Any from people? What are the prerequisite or any kind of anything is required? There are some prerequisite for attending this training or anything which is required or any more information which you would like to share with participants.
Sure. So for understanding Power BI, as you have seen here, you need not be a technical person until and unless you want to query some databases. But being a non-technical person as well, if you know the very basics of Excel, you can directly build a very wonderful report on Power BI. So Power BI services, it's just it is self-explanatory when you go on to Power BI services too. After you publish a report, just a few pointers here and there, and um, some details about that should help you go doing good with Power BI.
So I think so. That's it for all the questions. I think so. We don't have any more questions. And for the link, I think so. We have your email IDs in case you were not able to see. Somebody will send the details across for the special offer which we are running on the course, and you'll get those details across.
Yeah, I think we just got one more question. Yes, the third visual that I'm using on the right side is a table visual. As you see here, this is just a table. You even have a matrix visual too, which will have the rows and columns in a summarized way. A table is a non-summarized data, but matrix is a summarized data.
So any more questions? Yeah, yeah, people, please be free to put in the questions. The trainer will answer all the questions. So we'll wait for a minute or two. In case you have any more questions, you can just put it across. And Gayatri, how is the training program? What is the duration for this training program?
So only for Power BI, if we are just talking only for Power BI, it is going to be about 6 to 7 business days, which includes the complete program, the details of Power BI desktop, the Excel Power BI, which I was even talking about in the beginning, and also Power BI services with a real-time data exposure. I can
Yeah, I
pass on
think.
the data file in the chat. Will that work? Or
Yeah, I know. Maybe or maybe I think so. Anyways, we'll be sending the mail across as you wish.
okay, you can. I'll send it to you. You can send it across in the email
Yeah,
too.
yeah, I think so because we'll be sending the mail across, so we'll send that XLS file. So please be assured you will get that details across. We
Yeah.
already have your email IDs and we'll be sharing it out. So any more questions? So we'll share it across with you people. I think so over the mail as we have the email IDs, so it will be easily available. So rather than putting on the chat, I think so we'll just share it across.
Yeah.
So please be rest assured you will get the information which the trainer has said.
Yeah, this is a huge file. I'm sorry, I can't share it on the chat, I
Yeah.
guess. Definitely
Okay.
will share it in the email.
Yeah. So yeah, we've already noted down. So we'll be sharing it across. I think so. That's it. I don't think so. We have any other question.
Okay.
Yeah. So anything else, Gayatri? You're done, or anything else you want to tell
Yes.
the
Yeah,
participants?
I think I'm done. Thank you so much, everyone, for attending today's session.
Thank you, Gayatri. Thank you for the informative session. When it comes to upskilling and reskilling, CCS Learning Academy is designed to be your organization's secret weapon. CCS Learning Academy is one-stop solution for all of your business needs. Our advanced talent solution gives an access to pool of skilled tech professionals ready to deploy anytime, aligning your business needs with no recruitment fees. Our network of talented and passionate instructors are ready and waiting to work directly with you and your team. If you are new or to IT or your seasoned professional, we offer a range of courses for your needs. And if you would like more information, please contact us. On behalf of CCS Learning Academy and Gayatri, we thank you for your attention to this important training and hope you enjoyed this intro session. Looking forward to you all joining in future webinars. Stay safe out there. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Have a wonderful day. Bye bye.